Good evening and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Carney Porter. Aaron has the day off. The Second Court of Appeals in Fort Worth returned its decision yesterday in the appeal case of Anthony Patterson, affirming his 5 convictions and effective 33-year prison sentence for human trafficking and child sex crimes. The opinion came as a surprise to the Wichita County District Attorney's Office. Typically, it takes several months for a decision to come down, sometimes up to a year. But in Patterson's case, it only took 2 weeks. Josh Hoggard has been covering the Patterson case since charges were filed, and he's joining us now with more on the appellate decision. Josh?
Carney, the Anthony Patterson case is arguably one of the most high-profile criminal cases in the history of Wichita Falls. Procedurally, it was arguably one of the most frustrating. With delay after delay, multiple continuances, a change of venue, it took over 5 years from when authorities identified Patterson as a suspect in a trafficking and child sex crime investigation to when he was convicted and sentenced. So suffice it to say, prosecutors were stunned yesterday when just 2 weeks after his appeal case was submitted, the Second Court of Appeals returned with its decision. On Thursday, the Second Court of Appeals affirmed the 5 convictions for trafficking and child sex crimes, as well as the effective 33-year prison sentence of Anthony Ryan Patterson.
It was just a huge win. I'm so very thankful, so relieved. I'm just very proud of the work of our entire team on getting justice for those 2 girls.
For Wichita County District Attorney John Gillespie, who's been involved in Patterson's case since the very beginning, it's a day more than half a decade in the making.
It's a surreal feeling to get this and get us, nearly to the end of the road. It's just such a relief. I believe God led us every step of the way on this thing.
A sigh of relief at long last, with just one Hail Mary appellate option remaining for Patterson.
He can ask the Court of Criminal Appeals for discretionary review, but over 90% of those are turned down.
To get a full picture of exactly what yesterday's decision means to local prosecutors, you've got to travel back to 2019, when DA investigators came to learn that a member of one of the most wealthy and respected families in Wichita Falls was a suspect in a child trafficking case.
People who didn't grow up in this community don't understand the prominence of that family.
Gillespie would argue during trial that Patterson used his status, philanthropy, and his family name to groom the Wichita Falls community and cover up something truly nefarious.
To know that Anthony Patterson was doing this while publicly, he's donating basically to Patsy's House and the Boys and Girls Club and all the different children's charities, giving them giant checks while he's, trafficking children to his house.
Gillespie has said before that he thought he'd never have a strong enough case to ever take Patterson to trial.
I just didn't know if we would ever be able to meet our beyond a reasonable doubt standard. It took us 18 months to even be at a point where we could bring charges.
Then one delay after another pushed the trial back for 3 years. But once proceedings finally did get underway, Gillespie quickly learned he would have to go the distance against some of the best defense attorneys in the state.
They have such deep resources, the kind of legal dream team they had with Toby Shook and I think 3 other lawyers and just really incredible, amazing attorneys at trial.
Patterson was ultimately found guilty, and just as his defense team promised, he exercised his right to appeal, hiring one of the most renowned appellate attorneys in Texas, Keith Hampton, the man responsible for the reversal of the capital murder conviction of James Staley.
It still gets in your head because you just had such a huge case reversed earlier this year with him on the other side. The Staley case is one where you see what can happen on appeals.
But that didn't sway the confidence of the DA's office, rebutting all of Patterson's issues before the case was submitted October 22nd. And given the slow pace of Patterson's case, it came as a welcome surprise when the decision came back just 2 short weeks later, affirming the trial court's judgment and validating the work that he and his office were able to accomplish.
I believe God led us every step of the way on this thing, and I think this sends a message. We don't care who you are, we don't care who you know, we don't care what money you have, you don't do that to children in our community. The DA's office will come after you hard, and we will fight and win these convictions, and they will stand up on appeal.
And like Gillespie said, Patterson has the right to file a request for a review from the highest court in Texas, and we can expect Hampton to file one of those on his behalf. They have 30 days to do so, pending any extensions, so we'll be watching closely to see if and when that PDR is filed. Of course, we'll keep you updated on the status of Patterson's final appeal options, both on air and online at Texomashomepage.com.
All right, Josh, thank you so much for the update on that case.